Okay, all right. First of all, I just wanted to say I really appreciate our fans. That's kind of overwhelming. 83,000 plus for A-Day. Hats off to our fans. I know that meant unbelievable amounts to our players and coaches, and that's really what stood out to me. We had 111 plays. We wanted to use this thing as still an evaluation. It wasn't just try to window dressing as far as making it nice for a spring game. So we had, I think, 80 plays in the first half. We tried to go fast and use our pace. We slowed it down in the second half, on purpose because we'd already kind of seen what we want. But I was glad the way our guys responded. There was some good and there was some bad, but I'm real proud of our guys, the way they responded, hustling on off the field, dealing with adversity, dealing with some success, and really that's what I was looking for. And so overall, pretty well pleased. A lot of things that we did make mistakes, I believe, are correctable.
Gus, you talked about second scrimmage, first to second to this one. How did you see the team come along?
Yeah, every scrimmage I feel like we've improved, in all areas, defensively and offensively. It was good to be in front of a crowd because certain players, especially young guys, you're curious to see how they're going to respond, to being in front of the crowd. Of course, this was a great atmosphere, and it gave us a lot of good information from a coach's standpoint.
But Cameron Artis-Payne today shows some hands, doing well on fakes, and of course breaking out in the open field.
Yeah, I tell you what, he made some really good runs, and he's a big downhill back. He has gotten better. He's a junior college guy coming in. I believe the first few practices, head was spinning. But he slowed down and really made some good runs, and our line did a solid job for him too.
Good to get Trey some competition there.
Yeah, Trey, that's really the first work he's done, live work, since he's got injured. So, and he wasn't 100%, but he got in there and he played hard and did some good things.
What's the situation with Corey?
Yeah, he had a pretty good fever the last few days. He's been extremely sick, and if it was been a game situation, we probably would have played him, but he wasn't feeling good. But I will say this: he's had an outstanding spring, and he's done a very good job.
Gus, what about the quarterbacks? How do you assess their play?
There was a couple good things they did. There's a couple things just standing behind them. I was kind of whispering to them a little bit, but there were some good things. But it was great. It's great for us to evaluate the guys. I mean, I wish we could be live, but we only have two guys. Scholarship guys going through spring. You can evaluate them a little bit better when it's live, but it gave us some good information today, especially in front of the crowd.
Did either quarterback separate himself?
That's a good question. I'm big picturing it right now, standing behind, but it'll be good for us to watch on film and see who executed the best.
Are you convinced that the starting quarterback will come from these two guys? Is it possible in your system, the way you do things, for a guy to come in as a freshman, as a first-timer?
I'll say this: all positions we're going to play the best people, and whether that's quarterback or kicker or center, and we really, until you get about 3 weeks into fall camp, won't have any positions just completely, solidified. So the verdict's still out.
Gus, what does the size of that crowd say to you about the fans, especially coming off a tough year like last year?
Well, I tell you what, it says a lot. I think it says a whole lot to college football and the Auburn fans. And they had a tough year last year, but for them to come out and support our team, I mean that's overwhelming from a coach's standpoint. And I know our players, they had big eyes and they really appreciate it. And it'll go a long way for the future as far as our players, our coaches, and recruiting.
Coach, what do you think of the offensive line today?
I thought they did a solid job at times. I tell you what, our defensive line did a good job too. There was a lot of times they were playing in the backfield, and that's what Coach Garner and Coach Johnson's been stressing. And there was some good on both sides.
First play, Justin Garrett scoops and scores. Is that kind of an extension of just what you've seen out of him this spring?
No, I tell you what, he has had an outstanding spring, and Coach Johnson, I believe, has him in the right position to let him play, and that was a great play he made. And scooped and scored, and that was a big defensive play.
To follow on that play, Tunday's been working a lot on snaps out of the shotgun, and he has a hard time there. You've had 3 fumbles today and an interception. How much is the ball security an issue?
Yeah, definitely that is a concern. I think the first time was actually the crowd noise that got the snap. He thought he said go, I think, and the ball went flying over. But ball security, and really for the most part in spring, our running backs have done a good job with the ball security. It's just been the other areas. But yeah, that's definitely a concern. And anytime you're playing a whole lot of people, that's definitely a concern.
Because you said you wanted to have kind of an idea of a 2D by the end of the spring. You feel like
well, we're getting closer. There's no doubt. We got a lot of information as coaches. We have 2 more practices, which one will be another good one that'll help us evaluate. But every time you go, and we've scrimmaged, we went, live quite a bit. And anytime you go through scrimmages, that's when you really find out a lot.
Back to Cameron, he led you in rushing in both teams. Were you surprised at all just how well he did today?
Not really, because he's had a pretty good spring, and he's a big, strong guy. He's a hard worker. He wants to be good, and there's great competition in the backfield, which is a good thing, you know, going in next year.
Gus, do you have a health update on Dimitri Reese there on that hit, and what do you think of the hit?
Well, first of all, I'd say, I mean, 15-yard penalties are unacceptable with that. I mean, we've asked our guys to play hard. We're trying to get them to play hard, but I promise you this, that'll be corrected.
That's what I was gonna ask about this one. Have you seen anything like that ever in the spring game that you had where a guy gets called for that?
Well, yeah, I mean, that wasn't good, there's no doubt. You know, our guys are trying to play hard and big hits, but, you know, definitely that'll be corrected.
Besides the ball security, what else did you see that you did not like?
You know what? There were some mistakes. I mean, when you're standing behind and you're trying to play everybody, there's going to be some mistakes, but there's also good things. And I'll say this again: the number one thing I was looking for is our attitude and our physical hard edge, as far as running off the field, dealing with adversity, dealing with success, playing together. And for the most part, I saw that today.
How do you think the receivers are communicating when they get on the field? And notice them talking quite a bit there when they're lining up.
Well, there's a lot of communication that goes in, and not only from the sideline, but with each other. And throughout the spring, we've improved.
Gus, just an update on Demetrius McNeil, because you said you expected him back on Friday. Ellis said there was still some personal reasons. What's going on?
Yeah, he's dealing some things off the field. It's day to day, and so that's really all we know at this time.
Gus, how important is it to have practices after the A-Day scrimmage?
I think it's very important, especially for us to grade the scrimmage, to come back and try to get corrections the last two practices, so they'll have a good foundation like we talked about at the very first spring going into summer.
You excited for tonight, Gus, about the tumor celebration? You excited for tonight?
I'm very excited about the tumor celebration, and that's a big deal. Looking forward to it, and I guarantee our crowd is too.
Do you expect to be back?
Thanks.